What are some, like, obviously you've learned a lot of financial lessons over the years. Like, what were some personal lessons that you had to learn along the way too that like kind of helped you? Like, was there some things that have kind of stood out to you, you feel like?
I didn't know how to lead. I mean, like you said earlier, we're talking about hiring an employee.
Yeah.
I was so dumb that I thought if you hired people that they would like work.
Yeah. They knew what to do.
Well, no, that they would just actually work. I thought they would just show up. I thought they'd be on time. I didn't think they'd steal. I was so dumb that I thought all that. And so I just, like, if you could fog up a mirror, let's go do this together, man. Come on, get in here. I'll put you on payroll. Let's go. And then I got all this crazy and all this drama and all this other stuff. I was horrible. And I was pretty much a boss. Bosses push. Leaders pull. And man, when I was 32 years old, I didn't get that. And we hired our first person when I was 32. And so, over the years, I've had to learn to not be behind. Because, I mean, if you're a boss, you're just at the back of the cattle and cracking the whip. And it's like you're moving at the speed of the slowest cow, like the slowest common denominator in the room. It's like you get on. If you're a leader, you're standing at the train going, we're leaving. Anybody want to get on? Because this thing's going.
Right.
You better keep up because we're going hard and you better get it. And so I had to get around front of that and say, all right, I'm going to lead. And then I went to this Christian conference with a guy named John Maxwell, who's become a great friend. He's one of the top leadership speakers in the world.
Is he really?
And he said, you should be a servant leader. And I went, say what? I'm the one writing the check. I ain't the servant. I'm confused here. And I thought he meant subservient. And what he meant was you got to love your people and you got to care what's best for them. And sometimes that means telling them hard truth that they don't want to hear. Sometimes it means they can't work anymore because they can't behave, that kind of stuff. And so I realized I had been serving my kids by making them brush their teeth against their will. So they have some teeth later. That's serving them. So it's a servant leader, right? And so, I'm good with servant leadership. And so I had to learn that. I sucked. I was a horrible boss because I was going so hard. I thought everybody else was going hard, and then I was pissed off because they weren't keeping up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you hired a bunch of donkeys and expect to win the dadgum Kentucky Derby.
Yeah.
And no donkey ever won, man. So we had to look for thoroughbreds and have a donkeyectomy, and it was a problem, man. And so, I sucked, and I'm a world-class leader today. It's one of the things I'm best at. I love our people. I love our team. The way this place functions and operates, it's one of the best places in Nashville to work, probably one of the best places in the world to work. And it's not perfect. We screw up, but we treat people right. We care about them, and we expect high things out of them. We expect them to get it, and they do. We got a great team.
Wow. Yeah, I think that's something that I did have slowly had to. Yeah, that's been a tough journey for me. Like even just having a few employees, and it's like you're suddenly a boss. You didn't even want to be a boss. Like some of that too. I think just a realization, like, oh, I'm the boss, I guess. And they're like, well, yeah, you are. Yeah. And I'm like, well, all right,
I was just trying to get crap done. Who knew? And I needed somebody to do that thing, and you brought you in to do that thing, and then you brought all your crap with you when you did that. Now I got to deal with your crap. So, and that's been a 30-year journey, and so
that's huge. Boss versus leader. It's such a good way to look at it. And would you go to conference and stuff to learn about that stuff too? Because I'm sure you had to evolve in that space.
I did. I read like a maniac, and so I'm going to read leadership books, business books. I still read like crazy. I love to get new information in this digital age. An old guy like me, I'm sitting in these meetings with these studs, and I don't even know what they're saying, and they work for me. Yeah. I'm like, what did you just say? So I have to keep up. I mean, I gotta work hard. I gotta pedal hard just to stay on the bike. And so, I still do that stuff, and I still, hang out. And the good news is some of the guys that are the best writers and thinkers in the world have become friends over the years now. And so they're my running buddies. So we hang out, and I get to talk offline with them, and they still teaching me stuff. It's cool.
Yeah, did you find yourself having unrealistic expectations about going into business spaces? That's some things that I've struggled with in my life, especially recently. It's like just unrealistic expectations that things are going to work or that they should be a certain way, like not leaving space for anything really. Trying to just really have a lot of my own will, I guess, in some ways it is, but also it's just,
observing you from the outside, I think you probably suffer from this intense desire to be excellent.
yeah,
And all that means is you're excellent. And so if you demand that of yourself, it's okay to demand that of the situation, of the project, and of the people. I work my tail off, and so I don't hesitate if somebody's not to go, hey, come on, pick it up.
right,
It's not like I'm kicking back and asking you to go. No, I'm going.
right,
So keep up.
right.
And same thing with a project. We get on these projects now. So I still have unrealistic expectations. I do have a reality perception after 30 freaking years of doing stupid stuff.
Yeah.
I'm convinced we've survived about 90% of our ideas. Everything good that's happened on about 10% of them. But when you're starting it, you're going for a walk in the morning and, or you're sitting on the dock having a cup of coffee at the lake and you have this idea. They're all good then. But when you're, $500,000 in and you go, oh, this sucks. Yeah. This is awful. Yeah. And so you come to the realization that even though we demanded excellence, even though we drove the lane, put the ball in the hoop, even though we didn't have product market fit, something's off, pricing's off, something's off. And, but if you're not trying stuff, you're not growing.
Right.
So you got to try stuff, but you're gonna screw up a lot of it, even though you demand excellence. But I don't have a hesitation at all expecting excellence and expecting it. Why would you enter something you didn't think was going to work? Of course we think it's going to work.
Yeah.
Like a stupid reporter the other day is like, did you ever have any idea it would be this big? And I'm like, well, of course I did. Yeah. I'm getting people out of debt. There's like everybody is my market, Of course I thought it, but what I didn't know is how much work it was going to be. Yeah. I didn't have any idea I was going to have $100 million in payroll. Yeah. I didn't have any idea that it was going to take that to do it, but I knew there was a lot of need. I knew that it could be big, but I didn't know how bad it was going to be, how hard it was going to be.
Yeah, I think that's a thing that, that's funny when I hear you say that, because, as I started to get busier with stuff that was business, I just wanted to be a comedian, mm-hmm. and then got into podcasting, and then you have employees, and then they have feelings and you have
and they have feelings.
Yeah, and you have relationships with them, and so it's like all these things. Next thing you know, it's like I spend a lot of my day, most of your time gets gone kind of because there's another responsibility, mm-hmm. and so then I'm just like, man, I didn't expect this much more work to come out of, I think, just having some goals,
Yeah, I thought I was going to be on the radio and sell some books on getting out of debt. And, who knew I needed 400 people in a tech department, And so it's the same thing. You're exactly right. But the good news is that, it, like you said earlier, it's an opportunity to learn, opportunity to grow. That way you don't just stay in the pressure washing business. And so I still enjoy the stage. I still enjoy being on the radio and the podcast, the YouTube every day. We still do that show every day, 3 hours a day. I still enjoy all that stuff, but I also enjoy running this place. I'm running it with my son. He's the president now, and that's
awesome.
We had breakfast this morning, and we're having a lot of fun working on the problems and looking at the new opportunities and all that. So it's the entrepreneurial side is fun.
Yeah.